WandaVision was created by series showrunner Jack Schaeffer and stars Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany, and is the beginning of Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as well as being the first Marvel property show to feature on Disney+. It follows the story of Wanda Maximoff and Vision as they are living life in the suburbs of a town called Westview, as they live through many different decades in the form of a type of sitcom. But things begin to mysteriously happen in the town of Westview, and things are not necessarily what they seem. I was really interested in WandaVision from the trailers, even though I watched the trailers and still didn't really have a grasp of what this show was going to be. And I am so excited to say I adored this show, and it is definitely, in my opinion, in my top 5 MCU properties of all time. I loved this from beginning to end, from the acting, direction, and just the overall feel and fun of it. I got really nervous after Endgame because that was such a crescendo and climax for the MCU. I was wondering how Phase 4 was going to hold up, and if Phase 4 is anything like this show, I think we're in for something extremely special. Really, the heart and soul of this show is definitely Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany, who are incredible as these characters. I have loved these characters throughout their entire time in the MCU, but I think this show made me just adore these characters so much that they're probably my favorites now of the entire universe as a whole, and it definitely shows Elizabeth Olsen's acting capabilities. I think this is perhaps her best performance to date. She is able to go to many places in this story, and the show juggles with comedy, drama, romance, and horror at times, and it all manages to work together into something that's really amazing. Now, something that is key about this show is the sitcom feel of it all, as we do different things like sometimes the episodes will feel like I Love Lucy or Bewitched or Malcolm in the Middle or Modern Family, and it all makes each episode extremely unique and interesting. Just seeing that time period brought to life is a lot of fun because I grew up watching a lot of these shows, and it was just fun to revisit them in this type of way. I also like how it has these many twists and turns that you really don't see coming that really do add a lot. On top of this sitcom dramatic story, we have a mystery going on because something is happening in the town of Westview that is not in the ordinary, and so we end up bringing in characters such as Monica Rambeau, who is a character that was first introduced in Captain Marvel. We get characters returning from Thor and Thor the Dark World with the character of Darcy, and we also get Randall Park returning from his role in Ant-Man and the Wasp. And it's just a really cool idea that I think really does land, and it makes this show just one of the most enjoyable things I've watched in quite a while. This is probably, in my opinion, a little bit better than The Mandalorian, which was a Disney Plus show that I absolutely love. But this takes it to a whole new level with the emotional depth with the characters. And again, I have to praise Elizabeth Olsen in particular for this role because this is the first MCU character that I've really grown attached to, not just because of the actor or actress playing them, but because of the character itself. Now, I am going to get into a couple of spoilers, so if you want to turn away and shut this off now, do so. Just know that I absolutely love this show. But if you want me to talk about some spoilers, stay ahead. Now, one of the big reveals in this series is the introduction of Evan Peters as Pietro, which, you know, Pietro was Wanda's brother, Quicksilver, who died in Age of Ultron. But what's awesome is Evan Peters also played Quicksilver in X-Men, and it was really cool because we know that the multiverse is coming, so this was a really interesting way of bringing that all together. But there's some disappointment along the way that I was also just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. They set him up to definitely be that Quicksilver, but it's ultimately a reveal that you just kind of shrug it off and you accept it. It's kind of just more of a nitpick. It's not really a problem with it because Evan Peters is great. This is perhaps his best performance since his role as SpongeBob in Sleepover. And I'm not kidding when I say that because Sleepover is awesome. And then also I have to talk about Katherine Han, which is somebody I love in this show as well, but there's also some problems I have with the character as well. She plays the character of Agnes, or as she's revealed to be the villain, Agatha Harkness, and the reveal is cool and everything, and she's a lot of fun in the role, but to me, when it was revealed, the name especially, it didn't mean anything to me, and it made just that reveal as a whole kind of weak. In fact, that episode, that's the Modern Family episode, is just kind of, it's not as funny as the other stuff going on in the show, and it's definitely the weak link in the show for me. And also, I will say that Katherine Han kind of hams it up a lot to the point where, you know, there's been some pretty hammy moments throughout, but at this point in the show, it's gotten a bit more serious, and there's just this final battle with her, and she's just extremely goofy and over the top, and I love goofy and over the top, but to me it just doesn't work as well here in the climax. But there are some great things here, some great emotional beats throughout, especially with dealing with Elizabeth Olsen's character and Paul Bettany. They work so well off of each other. They're so believable with these characters, and I adored watching them once again on screen together. Seeing as Vision's character died in Endgame, it was great seeing him able to return in a very interesting way. Also, if there is one other problem I have with the show as a whole, when it comes to the very end of the show, a lot of the characters, such as Darcy, really don't get a great send-off. They just kind of are there at the end, and I wish there was a bit more for some of those characters. But overall, guys, I was extremely satisfied with WandaVision. I thought it was great handling its characters, its humor, and it was just a great love letter to sitcoms of the past and present, and it's a very interesting and unique way to be introduced into Phase 4. So anyway, with all that said, I'm going to give WandaVision an 8 out of 10. Well, guys, I want to thank you for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next review. Again, I have to praise Elizabeth Olsen because and again, I have to